Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening, and welcome back to the channel. Today I'm going to talk about Top Gun Maverick. So this may not be a film that you'd expect to see from me from my channel, but considering this was one I was very, very much looking forward to, big fan of the first one, I couldn't help but just talk about it a little bit. So as you can see, I am wearing my Top Gun shirt. I absolutely had to go when I went to see it. And I thought it was incredible. I really, really did. To get started, so I think this film does for the original what like Ghostbusters Afterlife did for the original Ghostbusters. It respects the past, yet also does its own thing and continues the plot going forward. This is not a sort of a hard reboot or anything like that. Obviously, you've got Tom Cruise in the main role. This was a very, very well written sequel, and it's something that it does seem is very sort of few and far between, especially at the moment. Now it was directed by Joseph Kozinsk. I think it's Kozinski. Obviously, the original one was directed by Tony Scott. Obviously he did Top Gun. He did True Romance. He did. I think it was Beverly Hills Cop. One of the sort of great action directors, and unfortunately, he passed away in 2012. Which I know there was sort of rumblings of the sequel happening then, with Tom Cruise, with the fact that they wanted to look at modern day warfare. Can you still have pilots when you've got unmanned drones? And for the most part, it does seem like a lot of that storyline is present within this film. So I don't know how much Tom Cruise had in terms of pull or say. Obviously, he produced this film. Obviously, he was very, very much interested in the development of the first film. Despite being 20 years old, he was actually in with the producers' meetings. So I get the feeling this is a character in a film franchise, you call it a franchise after two, that he was very much involved in. It does make me question whether Tom Cruise actually wanted to direct this one. Who knows why he didn't? I don't know. I'm not even too sure if he directs much, to be honest. But it stars Tom Cruise. It stars Val Kilmer as Iceman. It stars Jennifer Connelly and Miles Teller as Goose's son, and the sort of the chemistry between sort of Tom Cruise and Miles Teller is just fantastic. It's hard to describe in words, but the emotion that they both put into this film is one of like a sort of love-hate relationship. Miles Teller's essentially is like a sort of son figure to Tom Cruise, but he does kind of blame Maverick for his father's death. And obviously Maverick does things throughout the film that he's trying to protect him as well because of that guilt of his dad. And it's, like I said, this is an incredibly well-written film. It really, really is. It is hard-hitting. The action scenes are phenomenal. They really are. It's just hard-hitting, fast-paced action, sort of like at its best, really. Like I said, I know Tom Cruise was heavily involved in this one. It is his production company. Was it Skydance that did it? And it sort of the very front of it says Skydance celebrating 10 years. So, like I said, how much he did actually want to have sway over the actual script, I'm not too sure. But in terms of the production, I can imagine him having quite a lot of control. And I would have thought they'd have had a little bit more help with this one from like the US Navy and other like armed forces compared to what the first one had. another thing I really did like about this was at the end of the film, there was a sort of in memory of Tony Scott, which is a really really nice touch. Like I said, considering the first one was directed by Scott, and they did want to do this sequel. Both him and Tom wanted to do this film, so it was fantastic to see that. And like I said, there's so many emotional things within this film that I really don't want to spoil for anyone. But for anyone who is a fan of the original, yeah, you have to go and see this film. It's it's probably one of the best sequels I've seen in a very very long time, and I don't know if now I want them to do another one or not. They have kind of sort of left it in a way that they could come back for another one. But again, it's again similar to Ghostbusters. It's one where it's kind of left as like it could possibly go on for another, but you'd be really happy with it being by itself in now this this 2-part film. It's fantastic. Like I said, it's incredible that after 35 years after the original one came out, the year I was born, that they've not missed a beat at all. You know, that they're able to describe and tell you how Maverick has essentially stayed the way he is for so long. He doesn't want to progress. He doesn't want to like run his own fleet. He doesn't want to become a senator. He wants to stay sort of like boots on the ground. That's where he feels most comfortable. And it does lead to some interesting dynamics between himself and the younger pilots. You know, they do have a lot to learn from him, and that's completely, you know, that's just obvious from the film. There's a lot of things that happen that mimic the first film, and it's times like that where they're kind of disrespecting him a little bit, when they're not too when they don't know who he is, when they're in a bar at the beginning, and then he walks sort of down the aisle like Kelly McGillis did. It's McGillis, isn't it? Oh god, I'm terrible with names. McGillis. Like she did in the first one, when you see just Maverick and Goose just go, oh no. And you had that similar moment in this one, and it was just so funny to watch from sort of like the other perspective. But it was moments like that, like I said, that it makes reference to the original film without doting on it too much. And yet it's also its own thing. Fantastic writing. I cannot recommend this film enough, guys. If you are a fan of Top Gun, hell, if you are a fan of war movies in general, you should definitely go and see this one. But if you have seen Top Gun Maverick, let me know what you guys think about it down in the comments below. Please don't forget to like, share and subscribe, because it really does help me out. And I'll see you in the next video.